Tahoe stared at the screen. The message from the aliens filled him with worry. He had seen many strange things as captain of the Earth ship Dauntless, but nothing like this. "What does it say?" asked Juwu. She stood next to him, trying to read the alien words. "They call us hyenas," said Tahoe. His voice was calm, but his eyes showed fear. "They think we are scavengers. They think we are weak." Do-hyun walked up to the screen. He was the science officer and always thought carefully about problems. "The Vrek see themselves as lions," he said. "In their culture, calling someone a hyena is very bad. They think they are better than us." Tahoe nodded. "They want us to give up. They say if we don't, they will kill all humans." The room went quiet. Humans had met 7 alien groups since they started to travel in space 50 years ago. Most aliens were nice, or at least left humans alone. The Vrek were the first ones who wanted to fight. "Sir," said Minha from her desk, "the Vrek leader is sending a message to everyone. They want all humans to hear it." "Let's listen," said Tahoe. The main screen turned on. A large alien appeared. It looked like a cat with a metal mane and golden eyes. It stood tall and proud. "Humans," said the alien, "we have judged your kind and found you weak. The stars belong to the strong, not to those who steal ideas from others. You have 1 day to give up, or we will destroy you all." The screen went black. Tahoe looked at his crew. They were scared but ready to fight. "Well," he said with a small smile, "I think they forgot something important about hyenas." "What's that, sir?" asked Juwu. "When hyenas are in trouble, they don't just give up. They howl. They fight together." Tahoe turned to look at the weapons controls. "And sometimes they win." Tahoe pushed a button. "This is Captain Tahoe to all Earth ships. The Vrek have threatened us. They think we are weak. They think we will give up." He stood straighter. His voice grew stronger. "But we are humans. We have faced hard times before. We have always found a way to survive." On screens across all Earth ships, crews watched their captain. "The Vrek call us hyenas to insult us, but hyenas are strong when they work together. Hyenas can bring down animals much bigger than themselves. Today, we will show the Vrek what hyenas can do." Juwu stepped forward. "Sir, the Vrek ships are moving toward Earth. They will be here in 6 hours." Tahoe nodded. "Then we have 6 hours to get ready. Tell all ships to come together. We will make our stand here, between the Vrek and our home." "What if we can't stop them?" asked Do-hyun quietly. "Their ships are bigger. Their weapons are stronger." "Then we will think of something new," said Tahoe. "That's what humans do. We adapt. We find new ways to solve problems." He looked out at the stars, where the Vrek ships would soon appear. "The Vrek think they know what we are," he said. "They think they know how this will end. But they are wrong. They don't know humans at all." Minha smiled. "And they don't know much about hyenas either." For the first time since the message came, the crew laughed. They had a long fight ahead, but they would face it together. "Get ready," said Tahoe. "Today the hyenas howl back." At the moon base, everyone was working fast. People ran back and forth. Machines hummed. The air felt heavy with worry and hope. Jo-young walked through the big room, giving orders. She was in charge of getting the base ready to fight. "Work faster," she told the workers. "The Vrek ships will be here soon. We need to be ready." Seo-jin walked next to her. He was a smart man who knew a lot about science. He looked at a small screen in his hands and kept touching it to change numbers. "We have to get the sound right," he said. "If the sound is not just right, it will not hurt the Vrek ships." "Will it work?" asked Jo-young. She stopped walking and looked at Seo-jin. Seo-jin thought for a moment. "It should work. The math says it will work, but we have never done this before. That is why we are using all our machines," said Jo-young. "If some fail, others will still work." Minja ran up to them. His clothes were messy from working hard all day. "We have fixed 60 out of every 100 machines," he said. "We will fix the rest in 10 hours. "That is too slow," said Jidam. "We need all machines working in 8 hours. The Vrek will be here soon." "We are working as fast as we can," said Minja. Jayam looked a little less angry. "I know you are. But we are not just fighting against time. We are fighting for all humans to live." She thought for a moment. "Find more workers. Ask people who do not work for the Space Army to help. Give them rewards if they do." Minja ran off to find more workers. Seojin looked worried. "Even if we fix all machines in time, the Vrek might see what we are doing and get ready for it." Jayang smiled, but not a happy smile. "That is why Admiral Kang told our ships to look like they are getting ready to fight the old way. The Vrek will think we are just going to shoot at them." "So we are tricking them?" asked Seojin. "Yes, the Vrek think they are hunters, and we are like weak animals. They think we will run or fight in a way they expect. They do not think we will have a new way to fight." Jayang looked at her watch. "We have 18 hours until the Vrek attack. Let us make sure our first howl is the only warning they get." All over Earth and the Moon and Mars, humans were getting ready. In space stations and on ships, people worked together. They were not giving up. They were using their brains to find a new way to fight. Do-Yun, the science man from the Dauntless, spoke to a group of workers. "The Vrek ships are made of special rock that looks like glass. When sound hits it just right, the rock will break, like when a singer hits a high note and a glass breaks." "Will our sound be loud enough?" asked a worker. "Space is empty. Sound does not travel in space." "We are not making sound in space," said Do-Yun. "We are making waves that will hit their ships and make the ships shake. The ships themselves will make the sound." On the Dauntless, Tahoe looked at a picture of Earth. He thought about all the people there who did not know if they would live to see tomorrow. "We will not let the Vrek win," he said quietly. "We will show them that humans are not easy to kill. We will show them what happens when they pick a fight with hyenas." Krillin looked at the big map of the Earth solar system. He was the leader of the Vrek ships. He smiled as he saw the small human ships trying to get ready for the fight. "They set up their ships like children playing at war," he said to Aurelia. She was his second in command. They stood on the bridge of the Dominant, the biggest Vrek ship. It was as long as a city. "Our spies say they are trying to protect their inner planets," said Aurelia. Unlike Krillin, who had a big metal mane showing he was born to a rich family, Aurelia had a short crest. She got her job by being smart, not by being born lucky. "It is what we expected," said Krillin. His voice was deep and smooth. "Have they answered our message?" "No, High Leader. Their talks show they are scared. Many of their spaceships are trying to run away to far planets." Krillin's eyes got small with joy. "Let them run. We will find them later." He stood up from his big chair. His armor shone in the light. "Get the first attack group ready. We will hit their moon base first, to show them what we can do." "Yes, High Leader." Aurelia bowed and went to tell the others. As she walked away, she looked again at the map of human ships. Something seemed wrong. The way the ships were set up did not look right. It was not how ships should be set up for defense. But she pushed the thought away. Humans were known to be messy and not good at planning. Their ship plan was just showing that. In the big rooms where ships were kept on the Dominant, Vrek soldiers got ready for the fight. They put on their armor that could change to help them move better. They checked their guns that were made to hurt people badly before killing them. Back on the bridge, Krillin spoke to his officers. "The Vrek have beaten 17 kinds of aliens. Some fought well. Some gave up quickly. The humans have done neither." His voice filled the room. "They keep thinking they are as good as us." The officers made a low growling sound to show they agreed. "Tomorrow, we will show them they are wrong. We will show them what happens to weak animals that do not know their place." Krillin looked at all the officers. "For the glory of the Vrek." "For the Vrek," the officers shouted back. As the Vrek ships moved toward Earth's moon, Aurelia went back to her desk. She could not stop thinking about the human ships. Something was not right. She had studied human history. Humans had won many fights when everyone thought they would lose. Maybe, she said very quietly so no one could hear, we should not be so quick to think little of hyenas and how they hunt. On the Dauntless, Tahoe watched the Vrek ships come closer. They are moving toward the moon, said Youngjin, who watched the radar. They will attack the base first. Just as we thought they would, said Tahoe. Status of Project Howl. All systems ready, said Minna. Dr. Kwan is waiting for the order to start. And our ships? All in place, said Youngjin. The Vrek think we are just set up for normal defense. Tahoe took a deep breath. Everything now depended on timing and if the new weapon would work. He opened a line to Admiral Kang's ship. Admiral, the Vrek are coming just as we thought. May we start Phase 1? Admiral Kang's face appeared on the screen. Yes, Captain Kim. May your family spirits guide your hand. Tahoe turned to his crew. Send the start code to all changed platforms. Begin Operation Echo. They are moving toward the moon, said Youngjun on the Dauntless. Our scans show they plan to hit the base first. Captain Tahoe nodded. His face did not show how worried he was inside. Just as we thought. Status of Project Howl. Minna moved her fingers quickly over her screen. All systems ready. All platforms report green. Dr. Kwan is ready on Moon Base for the order to start. And our ships. All in place, said Youngjin. The Vrek think we are just set up for normal defense. Tahoe took a deep breath. Everything now depended on timing and if the new weapon would work. He opened a line to Admiral Kang's ship. Admiral, the Vrek are coming just as we thought. May we start Phase 1? Admiral Kang's face appeared on the screen. Yes, Captain Kim. May your family spirits guide your hand. Tahoe turned to his crew. Send the start code to all changed platforms. Begin Operation Echo. All through the Earth-Moon system, hundreds of machines that had been changed over the past 20 hours started working at the same time. They were not normal weapons. They were sound makers. In space, sound cannot travel. But the platforms did not make sound waves people could hear. They made energy waves that would hit the special rock in Vrek ships and make it shake. On the Dominant, Aurelia looked at her screens with worry. High Leader, we are seeing strange energy from the human defense grid. Krillin waved his hand to show he did not care. Just errors from their old machines. Their simple tech often shows false readings. With respect, High Leader, these readings are on all our sensors. They seem to be. Aurelia could not finish. A high sound started coming from the ship itself. All through the Vrek ships, the same thing happened. A rising sound that seemed to come from inside the ships. On the Dominant's bridge, Krillin put his hands over his ears. The sound hurt. Find where it is coming from, he shouted. It is our hull plating, said one of the tech officers. His voice was strained. The rock in our hull is shaking because of energy waves from outside. The shaking is getting worse all through the ship. Small cracks started to show in the window of the bridge. More cracks showed up all over the Vrek ships as the sound hit the special rock in their hulls. Pull back, Krillin ordered, very angry. Regroup at Point Alpha 9. As the Vrek ships began to move away, Tahoe allowed himself a small smile. The first howl has been heard, he said to his crew. Now for Phase 2. Tell all ships to start attack pattern Hyena. The human fleet, which had looked messy and not well planned, suddenly changed. It broke into small, well-planned groups that began fast, surprise moves toward the confused Vrek ships. Like hyenas hunting bigger animals, they went after the hurt ships at the edges of the Vrek fleet. The hunt had begun. On the moon base, Dr. Seojin watched the battle on his screens. It is working, he said to Colonel Ji-young. The sound is breaking their hulls. Good, said Ji-young. But this is just the start. The Vrek will try to find a way to stop the sound. Then we will change the sound, said Seojin. We can make it go up and down, or move it around. We can stay one step ahead. On the dominant, Krillin was very angry. 3 of his ships were badly hurt. Send out the fighters, he ordered. Destroy their sound platforms. Small, fast Vrek ships flew out toward the human platforms. But something strange happened. The sounds seemed to be coming from different places now. They are bouncing the sound off small drones, said Aurelia. Our fighters cannot find the real source. Krillin hit his chair with his fist. For the first time, he felt afraid. The hyenas, he said quietly, have sharp teeth after all. The space between Earth and Moon became a crazy battlefield. Vrek ships, their hulls cracked by the sound attack, tried to regroup while human ships darted between them, shooting at the weak spots. On the Earth ship Indomitable, Commander Joho led a group of small attack craft. Keep the sound going while shooting at the crack points. Do not let them fix their shield settings. The small human ships moved like wolves around a hurt deer, or like hyenas around a hurt lion. No single human ship could beat a Vrek warship, but together, using the sound weakness, they became very deadly. High Commander Krillin, getting more and more angry as he watched 3 of his helper ships break apart, ordered a counterattack. Send out the fighter groups. Target their sound makers. Swarms of Vrek fighters flew out from the bigger ships. They were thin and deadly looking. They flew toward the human defense platforms, wanting to destroy the source of the painful sound. Fighters coming, warned Lieutenant Jiwoo on the Dauntless. They have found the platforms as main targets. Captain Taeho stayed calm. Just as we thought. Start Phase 3. All over the Earth-Moon system, the changed platforms suddenly changed their sending patterns. Instead of hitting the Vrek ships directly, they began bouncing their signals off specially placed reflector drones, creating a complex web of crossing sound fields. They are trying to track the source signals, explained Science Officer Doyeon, watching the Vrek fighters change course again and again as they chased fake signals. But the reflector network is making too many false readings. On Moonbase, Dr. Seojin and Colonel Jaeyoung watched the battle from the command center. Seojin's hand shook a little as he made small changes to the sound patterns, changing to the Vrek countermeasures in real time. They are trying to change their hull settings, he reported, changing our attack sound by 0.3 units to match. Jaeyoung nodded, watching the screen as a big Vrek cruiser's hull finally gave way under the combined attack of sound waves and focused weapons fire. The ship did not blow up with a big bang. Instead, it seemed to come apart along crystal break lines, breaking into smaller and smaller pieces like a puzzle being taken apart. One of their big ships is down, she reported to Admiral Kang. But they are learning, changing their shields to block some of the sound effects. Admiral Kang's voice came through clear despite the noise. Then it is time. Run final phase. Colonel Jaeyoung turned to the talking officer. Send the signal. All ships and platforms. Run Operation Crescendo. All over the battlefield, human ships began to fall back in what looked like running away. The Vrek, sensing a chance despite their damaged ships, pressed forward, falling right into a trap. As they moved forward, all the sound platforms suddenly went quiet. For 3 precious seconds, there was no sound attack at all. Then, with perfect timing, they all started again at maximum power, this time on a quickly changing sound that stopped the Vrek from changing to match it. The effect was very bad for the Vrek. Ships that had been only damaged now began to break apart completely. The Dominant itself, despite its huge size and stronger structure, developed terrible cracks along its front section. The Hyenas, Captain Taho Kim said quietly as he watched the mighty Vrek flagship leaning to one side, small explosions blooming along its length, have learned how to bring down the lion. On the Dominant, Krillin held onto his command chair as his ship shook around him. Impossible, he shouted. They are prey. Prey does not beat predator. Aurelia, bleeding from a cut above her eye, managed to reach his side. And yet, she said softly, The hyenas have brought down the lion. High Commander Krillin held onto his command chair as the dominant shook around him. Red emergency lights cast dark shadows across the chaos of the command deck. Officers ran between stations as pieces of the ceiling fell down. "Status report," he shouted, but his voice no longer sounded so strong. Now it had fear in it. Sub-Commander Aurelia, bleeding from a cut above her eye where a screen had blown up, managed to reach his side. Hull breaking on decks 1 through 67. Power systems failing. Weapons offline. She paused, then added in a clear voice, "We are losing, High Commander." Krillin growled, his teeth showing in a way that was more animal than thinking being. "Impossible. They are prey. Prey does not beat predator." And yet, Aurelia said quietly, "The hyenas have brought down the lion." Before Krillin could answer this near treason, the main screen came to life, showing the face of Admiral Sun Wukong. High Commander Krillin of the Vrek Imperium. The human addressed him without respect. "Your fleet is crippled. Your flagship is failing. I offer you one chance to surrender and leave Earth space." Krillin started to roar in anger, but another explosion rocked the command deck. When he got back to his feet, his golden eyes got narrow. "You offer me surrender. I am Vrek. We do not surrender to lesser beings." Admiral Kang's face showed no emotion. "Then you will die here, and the Imperium will get nothing but the ashes of your pride. Choose quickly, High Commander. Your ship cannot take another attack." The battle screen showed the human was right. The dominant was surrounded by human ships, all keeping up the sound attack that was breaking his mighty flagship apart at the rock level. "How?" Krillin asked, true confusion breaking through his anger. How did scavengers make such a weapon? For the first time, Admiral Kang allowed himself a small smile. "You called us hyenas," meant as an insult. "But you forgot the most important thing about hyenas, High Commander." And what Krillin asked bitterly is that they learn, they adapt, and they work together. Kang's eyes got hard. "Your surrender, High Commander. Now." Aurelia stepped forward. "High Commander, the main power core is becoming unstable. If we do not power down weapon systems and send remaining energy to containment, the resulting explosion will destroy not only this ship but half your fleet." Krillin looked around at his broken command deck, at the officers who had served him well, now waiting for his decision. Pride fought with being practical in his face. Finally, he spoke, each word painful like pulling out a tooth. "I accept your terms, human. The Vrek fleet will leave Earth space." Admiral Kang nodded. "A wise decision, High Commander. Send surrender messages on all channels and order your fleet to stop fighting. You have 10 minutes to begin leaving." As the human's face disappeared, Krillin fell back in his command chair. "Send the surrender," he ordered, voice empty. "Get ready to leave." Aurelia bowed and went to do as ordered, but paused to speak to her beaten commander. "High Commander, I believe we have much to learn about these humans." Krillin stared into space, already seeing the shame that waited for him back in the Imperium. "Yes," he agreed quietly. "Maybe we were wrong about their place in the natural order." Throughout the Earth-Moon system, the sound attacks stopped as Vrek ships powered down weapons and began slow, herding withdrawals toward the outer system. Human ships kept watching, ready to start the attack again if the Vrek tried to trick them. On the Dauntless, Captain Taho Kim watched the Vrek leave with mixed feeling of relief, pride, and sadness. "The cost?" he asked his bridge crew. Lieutenant Ju Park looked at her screen. 17 ships lost, 42 damage. Moon base reports building damage but few deaths. Taho nodded gravely. "Compared to what might have been." He did not finish the thought, turning instead to Communications Officer Minasong. "Send to all ships. Well done. The Pact has won." As the message went out, cheers filled the human fleet. The hyenas had not just howled back. They had changed who had power among the stars. 3 weeks after what people now called the Battle of Luna, Prime Minister Yunju stood before the Earth Alliance Council. The room that had been full of scared people just weeks ago now felt different. People were hopeful but still careful. Leaders of Earth and all human colonies, Yunju began, her voice strong in the quiet room. Today we meet not in fear, but in thinking about what happened. The Vrek threat has gone back, but not gone away. Big screens showed where the Vrek fleet was now, far beyond Neptune. Reports said they were going back to Vrek space, but no one knew if they would come back with more ships. Project Howl worked better than we hoped. Yunju continued, nodding toward Dr. Seojin, who looked down when everyone turned to look at him. But we must think that the Vrek will change their ships to stop this weapon if they come back. Defense Minister Chunho stepped forward. We are already working on new ways to use the sound technology. Also, we have messages from 3 other alien groups who saw our win and now want to be friends for defense. This news made everyone talk with excitement. Until now, most alien groups have been nice to humans, but kept their distance. It seems, Yunju said with a small smile, that standing up to the bully has made us some new friends. The room got happier for a moment, but Admiral Kang brought them back to hard truth. While this is good news, he said, we should understand what it means. The galaxy now knows that humans can and will fight when pushed. Some will respect this. Others may see it as a challenge. Representative Kunbin, who had wanted to give up before the battle, now spoke with new belief. Then we must be ready. The Vrek thought we were weak because they only saw what they expected to see, a young group with less technology. Yes, agreed Admiral Kang. But now they have seen what we can do. The surprise will not work again as it did at Luna. Prime Minister Yunju raised her hand for quiet, which brings us to the most important thing we learned. She nodded to a worker, and the main screen changed to show a message from Vrek Talks. Our language experts have been looking at Vrek messages since the battle, she explained. One talk between the Vrek flagship and their home world is very interesting. The translation showed below the Vrek writing. High Command, 1 tis expla nation. For running from lesser beings. The humans are not as we thought. They do not ethan enki like pirai. They adapt. They work together. They turn our strength against us. Recommend EMEVACHANG of human grouping in Imperial List. Yunju let the council members think about this before going on. The Vrek did not just think too little of our technology or our will. They did not understand what humanity is. She smiled a little. They called us hyenas, thinking it was an insult, never seeing that when they did, they named our greatest strengths. Admiral Kang nodded in agreement. Adapting, working together, not giving up, learning from wins and losses. He looked around the room. These are the things that took our kind from caves to the stars. And now, they have earned us our place among the galaxy groups, not as prey, but as equals. As the council meeting ended, people broke into small groups, talking about what humanity's new place meant. In one group, Dr. Seojin found Admiral Kang coming to talk to him. Your work saved us all, Doctor, the Admiral said simply. Seojin shook his head. The idea was nothing without making it work. It was everyone. The engineers, the soldiers, the helpers working together that made it possible. Admiral Kang smiled. Exactly. That is what the Vrek missed, is it not? Humans are at their strongest not alone, but as a pack. 1 year after the Battle of Luna, the big room of the newly built Galactic Concord Station had people from 11 different alien groups. The station was built at a point between major space areas, and it showed a new time of working together between different kinds. Admiral Taho Kim, who got a promotion after the battle, stood with Prime Minister Yunju as they got ready to sign the important paper on the table. People called it the Screaming Pact as a joke at first, but now that was its real name. The paper set up defense agreements and technology sharing between the signing groups. It is right. Yunju said quietly to Taiho that our first real friendship with other kinds came from a fight. Taiho nodded, watching as people from the Norlax group, the Zithera Union, and other groups that used to stay away now talked with human leaders. Humans have often found their greatest coming together when facing outside dangers. Maybe it is the same on a galaxy level. The signing began with each group's leader coming to the table to sign in their own way. When Yunju's turn came, she spoke for all humans. We sign this pact not in fear, but in hope. Not just for protection, but for growth. The stars hold good and bad things, and we are smarter facing them together than alone. As she finished signing, a surprise person came into the room, making many people talk all at once. Ambassador Aurelia of the Vrek Imperium walked in with a small group. After losing at Luna, big changes had happened in the Imperium. High Commander Krelin and many old leaders had lost power, replaced by younger leaders who saw the changing truth of galaxy politics. While the Vrek were not signing the pact, their being there to watch showed a big change from their old proud and angry way. Ambassador Aurelia came to Admiral Kim and Prime Minister Bai after the signing. Admiral Kim, she said with a bow that would have been impossible from a Vrek a year before. My government sends its respect. Ambassador, Taiho returned the bow. We welcome the Vrek's interest in peaceful talk. Aurelia kept her face calm, but her words had weight. The Imperium has been around for 10,000 years by changing with the times. Your win at Luna showed that the old ways of thinking, of seeing kinds as hunter and hunted, no longer work. Prime Minister Yunju looked at the Vrek ambassador carefully. Does this mean the Imperium now sees humans as the same level? The Imperium, Aurelia answered in a careful way, is thinking again about many of its basic ideas. This will not happen in one day, but it has started. She stopped, then added, I have been studying your kind's history since our meeting. It is amazing how often humanity has turned weakness into strength. We had good teachers, Admiral Kim said with a small smile. The Vrek called us hyenas, and we learned to be proud of that name. For the first time, Aurelia's formal face cracked with what might have been a smile. Yes, and now, that lesson changes galaxy politics. She pointed to the signed paper. The Screaming Pact, named for the very weapon you used against us, has changed the power balance in ways no one could have seen coming. Later, as the meeting went on around them, Admiral Kim found himself standing with Dr. Seojin and General Jiyoung, looking at the stars through the station's big window. Do you think it will last? Jiyoung asked, watching the different kinds talking in the room. This new working together. Seojin thought about the question. History says groups form and break as needed. But maybe this time is different. How? Tahoe asked. Because for the first time, many kinds have seen a basic truth, Seojin explained. In the big empty of space, with all its unknown dangers, even top hunters are just trying to live. The line between hunter and hunted means nothing against the background of space, not caring about any of us. Admiral Kim nodded, watching as a human leader showed laughter to a confused but interested Zithari. We came together as a pact to face the Vrek danger. Now maybe the pact just gets bigger. General Jiyoung raised her glass in a toast. To the hyenas, then, may we keep surprising the galaxy. To the hyenas, Taiho and Seojin said together, their glasses showing the countless stars beyond the window, each a possible home, challenge, or wonder for the bigger pact that humanity had joined. In the big empty of space, where no single kind could say they were truly on top, the lesson of the hyenas stayed. Living belongs not to the strongest one, but to those who can adapt, work together, and change seeming weakness into surprise strength. The Screaming Pact had started with a howl of standing up. It went on as many different voices, rising together against the quiet of the empty space. The end.